UK Parliament's ethic watchdog was called upon to investigate Boris Johnson's finances on Downing Street following his Sleaze scandal, as Kathryn Stone was undeterred by government attempts to undermine it. Labour Vice Chair Angela Rayner called on Stone, the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards, to open a new investigation into the renovation of the Prime Minister's home, which reportedly cost £200,000 and was originally funded by a Tory donor. It comes after the government tried to overturn a decision by Stone regarding lobbying by Conservative MP Owen Paterson. The minister also tried to revise the system that was supposed to tackle the dirt. Rayner accused the Prime Minister of having tried to set up a bogus group of Tory henchmen who would comply with his wishes. On Friday, Johnson tossed Stone the gauntlet by refusing to disclose the cost of his Marbella vacation last month, funded by the family of Tory peer and minister Zac Goldsmith. Amid growing anger over the filthy debacle, a Conservative former Standards Committee member said it was a fairly opportune time for Johnson to try to destroy the existing disciplinary system in order to evade scrutiny of his own actions. Stone has announced that she will decide whether to investigate the Downing Street redevelopment once the Election Commission completes its own investigation. It is understood that the Commission has completed its investigation and submitted a draft of its finding to the Conservative Party. Allies of Stone view this week's chaotic events in Parliament as part of an attempt to undermine her authority, but two sources told The Guardian she was undeterred and would continue to take a robust approach to investigating MPs' behavior. On Wednesday, she released a statement intending to remain in office until the end of her term in December 2022. Rayner said in a letter to Stone on Friday that Johnson's behavior this week in attempting to shield Paterson by changing the standard system shows that the Prime Minister is clearly trying to disempower the role of Parliamentary Standards Commissioner and even remove you from your post at a time when it may be investigated by you for another breach of the rules. And she added, "The situation is deeply worrying for all of us who believe in democracy and basic standards of decency, integrity, and honesty in public life. Also, in this situation, it's all the more important that you can investigate whether the Prime Minister has broken the rules in funding the renovation of his Downing Street apartment, just as he has broken the rules on several occasions in the past." Rayner said the government-backed attempt to overhaul the norm system through the creation of a new committee chaired by a Tory MP was an attempt to turn Conservative MPs into judges and juries over corruption allegations and rule violations, to keep Stone from examining him. Dominic Reeve, a former Tory Standardisation Committee member, said Johnson's intervention could clearly only be interpreted on the basis that he intended to litter and undermine the committee and the commissioner. And he added, "What this group of ministers, led by the Prime Minister, has done is to say that this is a body that we are going to help. It doesn't matter whether we destroy the existing disciplinary system that is leaving it in ruins for the future." And it just so happens that at the same time, well, it could be very practical because the Prime Minister himself could shortly be the subject of the examination as to his non-declaration. Well, the question of whether the government is trying to oust Stone was underscored when Conservative headquarters issued guidelines to Tory MPs on whether to resign. They were not told that they disagreed, only to say that changes to the standardization system were about strengthening the process on a broader scale. Sir Malcolm Rifkind, a Tory Grant and former chairman of the Standards and Privileges Committee, told The Guardian that he was genuinely concerned that the Conservatives' reputation was being seriously damaged by events of this nature. He said Downing Street should admit that it went wrong and should show some remorse because the way they used the power at their disposal was not in the best public interest and is not happening again. He added, "You have to show that you learn from experience that this is not the way to treat the House of Commons or the country as a whole. The government's reputation will be damaged not only temporarily but potentially permanently if the public believes that such behavior would continue from time to time. Downing Street declined to rule out the possibility that Johnson could nominate Paterson for a title of nobility, despite the fact that the former MP was found to have committed an egregious violation of parliamentary rules on paid lobbying. So that is something we in Germany call a swamp. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.